Okay, welcome to the Angel Wing LLC and the Angel Wing's online self-mastery and personal transformation program. This is our trial run with Dr. Chaitanya Kripalu, and this can be used as reference for the future or for anybody else who wants to do a mock version or a trial version. This is also useful for that. And Chaitanya will be giving me feedback on anything that needs changes, etc. Okay, so to start this off, this is our disclaimer statement. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please do email Angel Wing or contact me directly, Sachin. You may even contact Dr. Chaitanya if you want, but get in touch with us some way or another if you have any questions about the disclaimer statement. The point that I want to mention is that this is not a treatment program. If you need counseling or treatment or medications or anything like that, this is not the program for that. But this is still open to you. If you want to make use of it, no problem at all. Okay. Please remember that every week we need these materials, your 2 workbooks, an envelope, then colored pens or pencils, blank cards, 1 blank card, 1 blank 3x5 card per week, and preferably drawing paper or like a drawing pad. You can have multiple sheets in there. You can probably just get one of those at Staples or online somewhere. Those are easy to get. But if you don't have that, just the workbooks are still all right for the time being. All right. Now we're going to start as we usually do with our grounding meditation, then we'll continue from that point.
Sometimes the mind can feel like a pack of wild horses, jumping around from past to present to future, refusing to sit still. And like a pack of wild horses, trying to force the mind to be still just doesn't work. The horses are wild in nature after all. But with practice and time, we can train the mind to be aware of when it's galloping in all directions. And we can guide it back to the present moment with a kind and friendly hand. So let's see if we can practice taming the mind by taking a few mindful, deep breaths. Wherever you are now, get comfortable. Eyes can be open or closed, and perhaps relaxing the shoulders. And now, taking a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Noticing what thought or sensation the mind is chasing after. And again, just gently taking another deep breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One last time, breathing in and breathing out. Similar to the wild horses, over time, the mind can become more tame, more calm, and may even start to enjoy more moments of stillness. Remember to just keep practicing.
Okay, we're going to begin our week number 12 activity at this point. Just a quick review from week number 11. The principle of forgiveness is what we were looking at last time in week number 11. Hopefully you had a chance to read that 3 times each day to kind of get some feel for it. And this is about moving past hurts and things like that. just to keep in mind that as we progress further with these modules, we'll be looking at these principles in much more detail with additional exercises and more interactive discussion and dialogue. This is to get the process started in these first 13 weeks. So this was principle number 11 from last time. Okay, so there was also homework from week 11. So hopefully you did that. Please try to stay on top of doing the homework each week so you complete the exercises. If you by chance have not completed the exercises for any of the weeks in the past, the videos are available for you. You can revisit them and redo them, or you can even add additional pages or create a new notebook if you want. It's completely up to you. You're not going to be turning this in to me or to anybody else from Angel Wing. You're going to keep this with yourself, right? So this is the homework from week 11. Hopefully you did that. And just a quick review of our central concept, which is broken into 7 points. You know, that human mind is characterized by intricate workings and endless complexities. That's the first point. Mind requires substantial amount of energy to function. That's the second point. Third is that energy can be drained by personal conflicts, both internal and external. Fourth point is steps can be taken to reduce and eliminate energy dissipation. Fifth point is revitalized energy permeates in every aspect of life, including the 12 dimensions. Sixth point is unobstructed and undisturbed energy flow creates powerful foundation for limitless possibilities. And the seventh point is what we're going to start with today. And we're going to stay with this set point of this aspect number 7 of the central concept today, as well as in week number 13. And that is energy flow. We're going to talk about vitamin M, where this is where there is the possibility of potential, realizing one's potential in many aspects of life, but specifically we're going to talk about realizing one's potential with regards to money. All right, so just a few thoughts before we begin the exercises. That first of all, you can see the pictures of the $100 bills there. What is that? I mean, what exactly are these $100 bills? This is money in US currency. It's a flow of energy. It's raw energy. It's symbolic, no doubt, man-made, but it's used for good exchange of goods and products and services. And the only place where it's not used for goods, products, or services is in gambling. That's the only place where money is directly exchanged, not to buy anything, but to exchange, money for money using a gambling activity. So that's the only exception where money is not used for goods or products. Otherwise, it's used for goods, to purchase goods, purchase products, purchase services. Okay, so energy flow. Money is what allows, us to have our material life, to live in the material world. Each of us, we want financial freedom, and this is our goal. So this is the vitamin M concept that we have been kind of hinting at and asking you to put money in the envelope. This is a very big idea that is going to be presented in many, many different ways as we move along. We're getting the process started today. So financial wisdom through awakened intelligence, a pictorial journey, right? So what I'd like you to do in workbook number 1, please open to the next blank page, put today's date. Wait, is that workbook number 1 is the 12 dimensions workbook? Is that right? No, I think I forgot which one was which. One of them is your 12 dimensions. I think that's number 2. I think the first one is yeah. So this is workbook number 1. And so open to the next blank page, put today's date on there, and write this yellow sentence at the top. Financial wisdom through awakened intelligence, a pictorial journey. Please write that down. Okay, very good. So as usual, these are some of the papers. Ideally, if you have drawing paper, that's fine. And when we actually do this live with people, we'll make sure that people have drawing paper. But you can always use your notebook for the time being. Pencils, colored pencils, markers, etc. Okay. So we need to first understand the concepts clearly. Don't write anything down just yet. Step one is to understand this concept. So we're going to spend a little bit of time trying to gain this understanding about what is awakened intelligence and the responsible use of money. So the concept of awakened intelligence emphasizes its holistic approach, which includes cognitive, emotional, and spiritual dimensions, highlighting how this deeper awareness and understanding can foster a more mindful and ethical approach to various aspects of life, including financial decisions. All this means is that money has to be used intelligently. That's what this means. Our cognitive means our mental ability. Are we using it using our mind, our mental ability, our cognitive ability? Are we using it using the good quality emotions? And are we also using it for spiritual evolution if we are looking for that? That's basically what this point means. This is using money through an awakened state. We are trying to awaken this understanding of how to use money as a vitamin. Okay, so understanding responsible money management, 2 points are here. So let's segue into a vital aspect that many people grapple with: judicious utilization of financial resources. Understanding the nuances of financial literacy, which spans across prudent budgeting, systematic savings, thoughtful investing, and generous philanthropy is paramount. These are all aspects, just things to keep in mind. We already know this. Just a quick reminder, right? Budgeting is necessary. And we're going to have programs developed for all this as part of the 12-dimensional flow. Systematic saving, thoughtful investing, mindful and generous philanthropy is all part of this. As we delve deeper, you'll notice that these elements resonate well with the principles of awakened intelligence. Their interconnectedness suggests that by fostering a heightened level of awareness, we can navigate the financial terrains more consciously and make decisions that are not only economically sound, but ethically sound. What does that mean? Making decisions that are economically sound and grounded in ethics. Sometimes people try to make money that violates lots of ethics, and that can create a lot of trouble for others as well as oneself. So we're going to explore how to channel this awakened intelligence into making financial choices, etc., and how to think of money as a vitamin. So first of all, there are 3 examples of the best use of money. So what I'd like you to do in your workbook, underneath the title, I'd like you to just put the expression best use of money just underneath the main heading that you have. Just underneath that in the center of the page, put best use of money. And there's 3 examples here. All right. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down not all the sentences, just points 1, 2, and 3. Investing in education, emergency savings, and supporting community initiatives. Just as a reminder, these are 3 examples of the best use of money. Right. So I'm going to go through these very quickly, just so we know what they are, and it's pretty straightforward. Utilizing money to further one's education or skill set can be highly beneficial. Use of funds. That's easy to understand. Emergency savings is easy to understand. Setting aside a portion of one's earnings for emergency situations is prudent use of money. We want the concept to be clear. So what is best use of money? This is the first concept. And supporting community initiatives, for example, contributing to local charities, is a noble use of money. Good use of money, supporting food banks, community centers, educational programs to uplift the community and provide assistance to those in need, etc. Right? So don't write out the whole sentences down, just the 3 points. Under best use of money, put 3 bullet points or 1, 2, and 3. Investing in education, emergency savings, and supporting community initiatives. We want to get the concepts clear. We're doing this together. And after our session today, we'll have time for Q&A and for discussion. So, if you miss something or you want to say something, you could just wait until that time. Unless you have something pressing that you want to ask me right now, that's fine too. Okay, so if you're ready to move on, let me know. Okay, very good. Okay, now what I'd like you to do, underneath what you just wrote, in capital letters, just put the word use. So use is what? Let's try to understand this. Don't write anything yet. Just put the word use there, U-S-E. Imagine an individual who is adept at managing their finances responsibly. Okay, so picture them budgeting their resources diligently, contributing to charitable causes and channeling funds towards personal development and eco-friendly initiatives. This is a scenario. So what I'd like you to do in your mind, let's do it together. I want you to make an image, maybe of yourself if you want. That will be fine. Or if you difficulty having to do it for yourself, you can just create a picture of someone who is financially responsible. But I would suggest you picture yourself as being financially responsible, right? Just visualize to begin with that you're budgeting properly and using resources diligently. Point number one, see if you can visualize this right now. That you're using the income that is coming in the right way, using it diligently. You're contributing to charitable causes, and you're also channeling it towards personal development. So there's 4 points here: channeling it to personal development, using for eco-friendly initiatives, whatever the specifics may be. Just create a small picture in your mind of yourself feeling that you are that, you're doing that. You're using your money wisely in all aspects of your life. Okay. So once you kind of got some image of that, some picture of that, here's what the exercise looks like. Exercises. Now I'd like you to sketch this scenario on a piece of paper. Try to encapsulate the essence of growth and giving it and placing that in your drawing. Right now, how would you do this? There's lots of ways of doing it. One easy way to do that is just to draw a tree. Just make a very easy to tree, and you can make some branches and some vines and stuff like that. And literally, you can make some bubbles underneath there as fruits if you want. And just put these words underneath there, that budgeting responsibly. You can write whatever you want. I mean, you can write this the way you want. Charitable use of money, or things that you feel should be part of your life as of now, as far as money goes, for responsibility. You can put all that there. And so just make a simple tree, make it very easy, and that's the easy way to do it. There's other pictures that can be drawn, and we're going to give examples of this when we start the program and when we send materials by email and all that. Right now, keep it real simple. Right, so this is your money tree, basically. So you've got the roots, draw the roots. Roots is just our activity in life to earn money. Then that money flows up, and then it's used. So that's one way to think of it. There's another kind of picture can be drawn is where you can draw the sun and the clouds and like a lake or a river, and then under each cloud you can see the rain. You can have the rain pouring. That's another kind of way to do it about utilization of money. There's other ways to do it also, but keep it simple for now. So make a nice simple tree, money tree, and you can make dollar bill pictures or $100 pictures, or see your money being used by you. In which way? Diligently, mindfully. We already know this. This is not something which we don't know. We already have the wisdom inbuilt. We just need to open it up and express it and live through that. Right. So if you have done that already, let me know when you're ready to go. This is the exercise part. You're trying to encapsulate the essence of growth, the essence of utilization. So you're growing the money and you're also using the money. Just as a tree, a tree doesn't become a tree like that. From a seedling to a little small plant, and then eventually the tree begins to develop. Sometimes people want instantaneous growth, and it doesn't necessarily happen that way. They wind up in trouble because of that. Right, so this is all about the awakened intelligence. We're trying to awaken our intelligence together to bring awareness about the essence of growth, that money grows and it's also used. Just as a tree, and you can draw like an upward arrow, that the money is growing. That's the savings part of it. So money growth is savings and investing like that. That's all that's there. And then there's utilization of money. But that utilization is the key, because many people don't know how to utilize it beautifully. Now, that's our whole focus today. And next week also is on vitamin M concept, to use it as a vitamin. And I'm going to talk more about that as we move along. Very good. Now, what's the symbolism in this? To help convey this message more strongly, incorporate symbols that resonate with growth and enlightenment. You can put lots of symbols in there in your diagram. You know, things like a gold chest or anything that depicts growth of money, like a vine growing like that, like a money tree. And there's many other symbols. You might consider drawing plants that represent organic growth, a brain that symbolizes knowledge. You can make a little brain there. It symbolizes knowledge through education and growth. You can have hands to depict the act of philanthropy. So you can put some symbols in this tree also. Do it the way you want. Don't worry about making a perfect picture. You know, we'll have samples for you to use later on. Do it the way you want to do it, just so you know what you drew. But it should be something that is resonant for you. If you feel that you want to have more knowledge about investing and things like that, then you can say it. You can just write their knowledge about investing, or make a symbol of money and a brain or something like that. That whatever, I don't know. It's up to you. Lots of symbols are there. So you take a few. Once you're done with drawing this, you take your time. Just let me know when you're done. Then we're going to visualize it after that. So let me know when you're done with that. But do take some time with this. Don't rush through this, because this is an important exercise. And what I'd like you to do also, I want you to write the word vitamin M, or there's two, the word vitamin and then the letter M. I want you to write that under each piece where money is being used. So maybe you drew it for for family expenses or other things like that. Wherever money is being used in this tree, just write vitamin M, or you can just put VM if you want, or vitamin M, VITM, like that. Abbreviated is okay. But all that means is you're using money, but our goal is to use it as a vitamin, and this is the very interesting concept. Okay. Very good. So take some time with this. If anyone has any questions, you can certainly ask me, or if you have longer questions, you can wait until we're done, and then you can ask me later on after our session is done, because we're trying to keep the time. And remember, this is specific to you. I mean, don't worry about anybody else's family. This is just you, and this is going to stay with you. You don't need to give the specifics of your finances to AngelLink. We don't want to know about that. That's for you to hang on to. Okay. So now we're going to take just a minute or so to visualize what you've done there. What that simply means is, and this is something that we'll do when we actually do this live, and we'll do this during the second follow-up hour. If people want to share their drawings or something like that, I just put that in there as a reminder. But it's good to share these drawings if you want. If you don't want to share it, that's perfectly okay. What I'd like you to do now is to just sit with that for a moment and see it. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths and just notice the money flow. That money is coming to you, has been coming to you. It is energy. It is to be used with intelligence. And that using with intelligence, using it as a vitamin, using a limited amount with the maximum benefit that energizes life, is the concept of vitamin M. So this is the basic idea. All right, so this is called utilization of money. That's why we put the word use. Now, what I'd like you to do, you can either continue on the same page or maybe the next page. It's perfectly fine, whichever. I don't know how much space you have left. Maybe the next page is okay. Write this down. Write the word misuse. Just write that word down, misuse. And if you want to say misuse of money, you can do that, or you can just say misuse. So what we're going to do here, we're going to try to illustrate. Hold on one moment. Let me just check one thing here. Yeah, all right. This is coming up. So we're going to try to illustrate an individual indulging in impulsive buying, accumulating debt, and prioritizing material possessions. Right? So how to do this? First of all, what is misuse? What is misuse of money? What does that mean exactly? You're still using it. So impulsive buying is an example of misuse. People who are accumulating a lot of debt, that's a misuse of credit, misuse of money. Many people, unfortunately, for various reasons, they prioritize acquiring material possessions over financial stability. I want to buy something, I feel like buying it, I'm just going to go and buy it. I'm going to do it. I'll put it on the credit card, I'll pay in installments, but I want to get the feeling of buying that. This is called acquiring material possessions. That's the scenario. So what I want you to do right now, just see this clearly, the difference between misuse and use. Best use is the first scenario, which we looked at that already. Now we're going to look at misuse. So an individual caught up in impulsive buying, these are examples. Misuse would be using a screwdriver, to unlock a lock. No, you have to use a key. Key is the right use. This is the misuse. It's like that. So money is being used, but it's going to create difficulty. So here's the exercise. Let's understand this first, then we'll get into it. To deepen our understanding of this situation, I'd like you to jot down a brief narrative or a scene description that captures this scenario. Use vivid imagery and try to bring to life the consequences and emotional toll this kind of behavior can have on individuals. You can select whatever you want. You can select impulsive buying, easy to understand, accumulating debt. So impulsive buying, you can just stay with that, rather than worrying about other scenarios. And it's not something that you need to buy. You're going to accumulate debt with it. So I want you to write a brief narrative of a person doing this. Or if you've done it yourself in the past, you can write about that also. No problem. Right? So in your narrative, you can incorporate symbols that paint a vivid picture of the situation. You might use imagery such as a shattery piggy bank to represent financial instability, which we don't want, obviously. Chains to depict the binding nature of debt. That's a good one. There's a lot of people in the world, and particularly in the Western world, who have a lot of debt, right? It's a chains to depict the binding nature of debt. And you can also draw mountains of, mountains of unnecessary goods to showcase the overwhelming nature of material desires. All kinds of material desires there. You can draw mountains. One desire comes up, another desire props up, and some people are addicted to that. So you can make the symbolism, you can make it applicable to yourself if you've misused money by impulsive buying, or this is just one example. And usually, I think that is good. You could be buying anything impulsively. It could be food items, or it could be clothing items, or it could be cars, or I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. And specifically where debt is accumulated. So create a scenario, put a bunch of symbols in there of a piggy bank, or if you're using a red pen or marker, you can write the word debt in bold. Something like that is good. So craft your narrative. And there's lots of implications of it, obviously. So in our discussion part, after the presentation is done, we can get into sharing and having conversation about this. Again, this is not vitamin M. Now it's still using money. It's not using money as a vitamin, not at all. It's using it impulsively, compulsively, to satisfy an emotional craving, to satisfy just a thought or a whim. It's misuse, right? So if you're done with this, if you have at least some idea about this, what I want you to do right now, I want you to just place your hands in a small pyramid, just like this. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to visualize the distinction between best use, and misuse. Be very clear in your mind, in your way. We're not going to write a dissertation on this right now. We just want some clarity. That's the intelligence. In your mind, what's clear to you about this? And once it's clear, just relax your hands. Okay, excellent. Very nice. Okay, now in your workbook 1, you can continue now further, maybe on the next page if you want, is to write the word abuse. And this is a serious problem. Abuse of money, right? So abuse of money. What is abuse of money? All kinds of stuff is involved in that. Fraudulent activity, manipulating others for money, all kinds of things. All kinds of things are there. Financial scams, theft, exploiting others. So many examples are there. Just right now, just only put abuse of money. Okay. So what I'd like you to do in this, what I want you to do here is I want you to make sentences using the word abuse. And abuse of money for me is, or if you feel you've used it. Now, abuse is different from misuse. It's even worse than misuse. So I'll give you some examples. Easiest to understand example is somebody sitting at a slot machine, putting in those $100 bills, they don't, and they're just wiped out $3,000 or $4,000. That's an easy to understand example of abuse. That's one. Another example is to, let's say, buy a weapon to hurt somebody. That's an abuse. Another example is to run scams of different kinds, for financial purposes. That's abuse. It's actually causing harm. Misuse also causes harm, like debt, but the harm is much more in abuse. People, selling drugs, buying drugs, illicit drugs, things like that, just for the purpose of gaining a lot of money illegally. It doesn't matter how much harm is caused. That's abuse. People spending large amounts of money on cigarettes, harming their lungs, harming their mouth, this is abuse. It's money the vitamin M is no longer used as a vitamin. Money is used it's abused actually. So it is an abuse of money that causes harm. So the money is still money, but it's been used in an abusive way. And there's lots of other examples, things like people going through a very nasty divorce, massive battle over property and money, and this kind of stuff this is also abusive situation. Lots of examples. So what I'd like you to do, and I don't want you to go too deep into it, but if you feel you've abused money somewhere, whatever has happened in the past has happened. I want you to write down those points. I have abused money blank. I have abused it blank. I have abused it here. Misuse is different. Abuse is different. Abuse comes with much more harm than just debt. Abuse is much more serious. There's more emotional harm. There's physical harm. There's harm to the society. Another example of, let's say, like certain companies, polluting massively illegally the rivers and natural settings. That's abuse. Lots of examples are there. But right now, what I'd like you to do is to keep it focused on you and just make some I statements there. If you have abused, if you feel you have not ever abused money in any which way where harm has not been caused, then right there, I have not abused any money, and I do not want to abuse any money, and I am going to make sure I don't abuse it. This is the one thing we want to stay away from, which includes the entire problem of all types of addictions, because the addictions are fueled by this money exchange. It's and that is extremely damaging. Families are torn apart. People have committed all kinds of crimes. They have even committed suicide. They have taken drug overdoses. The list goes on. So abuse is very, very, very serious. And part of what we want to make sure we do is that if we are abusing money, we need to stop doing so as of now, if we can. And then we're not a treatment program. If you're addicted or if you're having a smoking issue, there's lots of ways to get help. We can provide some general guidelines, but we want to stop the abuse. This is the key. Very, very important. Very important. And then there's also all kinds of, purchase of items online and stuff like that, which is perhaps illegal, even abusive. I won't go into the details of it. I think you know what I'm talking about. And that, stay away from that. Very, very important. Right? So this is abuse. So now again, try to see, place your hands in a pyramid position, close your eyes for a moment and see clearly for you the demarcation between misuse and abuse. It has to be your vision. What for you, where's the demarcation line? The best use is where we want to be. But this abuse, we don't want that, and any misuse we have to recognize and stop. Right now, to understand these concepts, see where the demarcation line is between misuse and abuse for you. It's going to be probably different, very little bit. There's mostly 90%, it should be the same, but there's probably some 10% specifics for each person. Right? Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to reflect on this a bit. This is the kind of subject that many people have not even thought about usually. Very important thing, reflection and connection with awakened intelligence. Why do we need awakened intelligence? That will allow us to stay in that best use realm. So let's look at this carefully before you make any drawing. At the bottom of the paper, draw a separate section where the participants, that's you, can reflect on how the principles of awakened intelligence can guide one to make ethical and conscious money choices. So encourage the participants, which is all of you, to draw symbols of awakening, such as an enlightened person, balanced scales, harmonious circles, represents the cycle of giving and receiving. So the idea here, but just want to make one drawing, and maybe you can just draw it. I mean, possibly you could actually just make a triangle, or or you just draw a square, you know, and you can on each point, or you can draw a pentagon. On each point, draw the qualities needed, you know, for harmony, for best use. What would that be? You know, for example, not using credit cards or paying off the credit card within the grace period, things like that. You know, so how do you bring from where you are now to best use? If you're misusing or abusing, to stop that and then put in those points. And you can make any kind of diagram you want. You can just make a list if you want. If you want to make a diagram, it's okay, or just make a bullet point list about the best use as of right now, what you think that is. And if you can't remember all this right now completely, don't worry. You can do it as a homework assignment. But just get the process started, and then you can finish it later. Because it does require some thinking, you know. There's a lot of gray areas also. But that's what awakened intelligence is all about. So on the top of this diagram or at the bottom, you can just put here awakened intelligence / vitamin M. That'll be the title of the diagram or the list, either one. And it's all about balance in life. That's why you have the picture that you see, that all of those pieces are balanced together. And that's one of our core ideas, is to balance all 12 dimensions. All 12 dimensions can only function with balanced vitamin M. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Otherwise, all kinds of trouble awaits. Which we don't want, obviously. One of the biggest ideas about the vitamin M concept is peace of mind. Peace of mind, peace of emotions, peace of harmony. That there's good savings, but that's not greed. You can save a lot of money and not be greedy. When we learn the art of vitamin M utilization, which we will talk about even in more detail next time, and then in subsequent specialized modules that will be created, then there's great peace of mind without being stingy and greedy and things like that. Right? That's the basic idea. Now, this is when we set up accountability partners. This is something to be done. This can be done after our session today. It can be done with an accountability partner. After completing the drawing, encourage participants, that's all of you, to share and reflect upon the exercise. Right? So this can be done later on at some point. Okay. So what's the conclusion here? What are some of the conclusions we have? So as we conclude this exercise, let's gather our thoughts, and this is that discussion part again. In the discussion part, which we will actually do, after the session is done, it's good to reflect on these ideas and to you don't have to discuss your personal stuff, but for concept clarification, there's some discussion is definitely a good idea. Okay, so what we're going to do before we go to the next part of our program today, do a little quick movement and stretch break, and then we'll continue from there.
I'm so glad you're joining us for a quick movement break. You should aim to integrate movement into your workday at least every 30 minutes of uninterrupted sitting time. Doing so can reduce your risk of weight gain, high blood pressure, and obesity. Let's get started. Begin by standing. Root both feet into the ground. Take a great big inhale and reach both hands high above your head. On your exhale, goalpost the arms and lift the chest, finding a baby back bend. Back bends can quickly boost your energy levels and help to refocus your mind when dealing with stress. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lift the chest and goalpost the arms. Place your hands down by your side. Now bring your right knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you and pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. You may want to hold on to something in order to help keep your balance. Let's switch to the other side. Bring your left knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you, pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. Bring both feet back together. Next, bend your arms by your side and begin to twist right and left, opening up into your sides and spine. You can leave your arms bent or straighten them out depending on the space you have available. Twisting the spine back and forth can help relieve any tension in the lower back from sitting. Lastly, place your feet about hips distance. Then place your hands onto your hips. Take an inhale and lift the chest up, and exhale, slowly beginning to lower the chest down. As you begin to fold forward, bend the knees to begin lengthening through the hamstrings until your chest touches the tops of your thighs. You can dangle your arms down towards the floor or grab onto your elbows. Stay here to continue lengthening through the spine, or you can sway side to side. Bring the hands back to your hips, and on your next inhale, slowly begin to rise up. Head comes up last. Great work on integrating this quick physical activity break into your busy day. Setting a reminder on your phone or computer can help you remember to fit in regular breaks. Breaks don't have to take up too much of your time and can be effective with just a few short minutes. Low-intensity activities such as standing can be just as beneficial as walking. We encourage you to take a stand against sitting.
Okay, welcome back. I'd like you to open the workbook number 2, the 12-dimensional self-assessment that we have been working on. And this is just a quick reminder about what the 12 dimensions are. You can see it on the screen. Career, finances, physical health, mental health, family, social life, personal development, etc. It goes straight down that way. And always keep in mind that the 12 dimensions are interconnected together. They all use energy, and money is what we're focusing on today. Money is part of this core energy. Without that, these 12 dimensions are not going to function. There's no way. With a lot of trouble otherwise. So money is directly related to this core energy, which is inside of us. There's a direct connection between the two. All right, so keeping that in mind, hopefully you have been doing these ratings every single week. Hopefully you do it at the same time each or same day, and then utilize the ratings from 0 to 10. And in doing so, you are able to do a self-assessment and use the spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet, and I'll make Google Sheet out of it. We'll have various versions of it available. You just put the numbers in there, and you'll get an average, for the week. So maximum you can get is 120. Our goal is to get to 70% or more. So gradually we're at week number 12. So you should know how to do this by now pretty well. Okay, so our goal is to get to 70% or more, which is in a number of 84. Okay. All right, very good. And then again, what specific steps need to be taken? That should be writing down. So what I'd like you to do, this is what we do each time. This actually should say week 11. Hold on one second here. That's just a little error on my part there. Okay, so what I'd like you to do in the workbook number 2, put today's date on there, and then you should have done this every single week. You know that you just have numbers 1 through 12 for the 12 dimensions, and then what needs to be done each time to increase that a little bit further. We're going to provide more guidance about this when we actually start the program, but this is how it's done. You just write a sentence or two about increasing that number. So it connects with the spreadsheet. You look at the numbers in the spreadsheet from the last several weeks, which ones are low, and then kind of you do a self-assessment and say, okay, what do I need to increase? And then if there's a deficiency somewhere, you can let us know. We'll give you general guidelines on how to increase any of those numbers that are deficient. We want to get to a point where it is 7 or more in each of the areas. And you can also write things like 7.5 or 7.6. You can make a point out of it. That's fine. And the tracking sheet you already have through Excel. Okay, so this is the 12-dimensional tracking that's done every week. In all 12 areas, you are writing down where you are. Just as a reminder, you know, we're at week number 11 right now. So this is either between weeks 10 and 11 you'll be putting, or between 11 and 12. You can do it either way. But when we start the program, it should be done, you know, the tracking is done after the first week. So it's the number is at the end of the first week, the beginning of the second week, right? So that's that. It's just a simple number, 0 to 10. And then you put the number there, and you can put, for example, we're talking about financial health dimension number 2. Maybe in week number 1, it was like a 3 or a 4, but as money has been saved, these ideas are there. Hopefully these numbers are increasing. Maybe it's like at a 7 or 8 today, or like an 8.5 or something like that. It's just a number that you're trying to encapsulate the strength of that dimension. A 10 would mean it's at the highest level, like it's absolutely perfect. That would be a 10. You cannot put anything more than a 10. 10 is like the absolute highest. You know, like if your health is like number 1, everything is exactly where it should be, and you're at the top of the world, that would be a 10. And the same thing is true with all of these areas. So that's just a quick reminder of that. So that's for tracking sheet. You know, that's the dimensional tracking that's done week to week. One more thing which I'd like you to do in the workbook number 2, since we're talking about vitamin M, you know, the financial dimension. So underneath there, write this expression, this word dimension number 2, and just put finances. So write that down in your workbook number 2, put today's date, and write down the word finances. And what I'd like you to do in that is, I want you to set a reminder. This is a homework exercise for you. So just say homework exercise to review current finances. You know, maybe and create a budget. Review current finances this week. If you can create a budget this week, that's fine. But by the time 13 weeks are done, we want to have a budget in place, right? So you need to have a budget. So review current finances, maybe with your husband or your wife or your spouse, if you're in a marriage or whatever, you know, a situation you're in, review it clearly. And so that task you have, that's all I want you to do right now, as far as this week is concerned. All right. Now, as far as our principle number 12, what I'd like you to do is to take a blank card. This is a little longer writing here than usual, but it's worth it. I think it's, since we're now progressing further, please write down principle number 12, awakened intelligence, exactly what you see on the screen, and write down the entire paragraph there. Okay, so it might spill over onto the back side. It might, I'm not sure. But it's worth writing it down. So awakened intelligence refers to an evolved state of mind where an individual can tap into deeper levels of awareness and understanding, transcending the limits of conventional intellectual abilities. I know it's a mouthful. I know it's difficult to understand, but it's okay. We were going to get into it. This is going to be explained and gone into in much, much more detail in the future. So this form of intelligence integrates various dimensions, including cognitive, emotional, spiritual aspects, fostering a holistic and enlightened approach to perceiving and interacting with the world. It often involves a conscious effort to cultivate mindfulness, emotional understanding, and a deeper, more connected sense of insight into oneself and surrounding world. It's a lot of words. I know that I could potentially cut it down, but then I don't want to lose some of the punch behind it. That's why I've kind of kept it like this. Just write it down, and then all I'm going to ask you to do is to read this before you eat your meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner during this upcoming week. Take your time with this to write this all down. This is a little difficult to grasp right away, but it's one of those things that can happen. Okay, when you're ready, let me know. Don't worry about trying to unravel this right now. We'll be spending considerable amount of time on this in many, many different venues throughout Angel Wing, as well as on our PTP program. So when there's a mouthful like this, that's meant for long-term contemplation. This awakened intelligence is absolutely needed to understand what is vitamin M, to use money as vitamin M. The concept of a vitamin is simply that we don't eat massive amounts of vitamins. We take one pill, 2 pills, but it energizes our body, our mind, the reactions in the body. If you're ready to move on, all right, very good. This is awakened intelligence. Make sure you have that card with you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, just to read it. You don't have to even think about it at all. If you want to, you can think about it, but you don't have to. Just to read this one time for the whole week. I mean, one time before each meal, which is 3 times a day. This is our central concept. You already have this. So again, read this once daily. Maybe before going to bed, maybe in the morning, anytime. This sentence, this paragraph, I mean, is to be read every single day, without break. If you read this every single day without break, it will absolutely powerfully penetrate inside all of our mind, into your mind, my mind, etc. Right? All right. So this is the central concept. Our entire 1-year journey initially, and then multi-year journey is all based on this one central idea. Okay. Now, I'd like you to put some money in the vitamin envelope as usual. So if you forgot to bring it, it's okay. Make sure you just do it later sometime today, but make sure you put a certain fixed amount in there. This is the concept. The concept is what is to be able to use a certain part of it. Now, this is where the vitamin M really kicks in. This week sometime, allocate 10% of what you put in that envelope this week to a meaningful cause or investment, ensuring that every cent is utilized judiciously, responsibly, without any misuse or abuse, right? So I don't know how much money you have. Maybe you have $200 in there or $100. I don't know, whatever you have in there, see how much is in there and take 10% of it and use it in the best possible way that you can think of, where it is not misused or abused, right? So this is a homework exercise. So what I'd like you to do in your workbook. You can do it in either work, but I would say do it in workbook number 2, because you already have the vitamin M thing written there about finances. Just write in there, use 10% of money in envelope. And if you want to use 5%, that's fine also, but some small percentage is okay. But the key is to use it is the best possible use. You should not feel it is misused or abused. It should be judicious, responsible, meaningful. It should be enjoyable. It should be something that is going to enliven the 12 dimensions or any number of these dimensions without any piece of it, that 10%, being misused or abused. That's not being stingy. It's not being miserly. It's not being closed-minded. It is being aware of the power of money. You know, it doesn't matter, whatever money you may have. Sometimes people feel I have a lot of money. Oh, what's $100? No, that's a wrong understanding. $100 is still $100. $50 is still $50. You know, so sometimes the value of money diminishes in many contexts. Sometimes people are very wealthy. It doesn't make any difference one way or the other for what $100 is. Okay, this happens in gambling also. People who gamble, make high bets and all that, they lose all sense of, of what is abuse. Right? So keep this in mind very, very carefully. It's a very important concept. Okay, and then after having done that, we are ready to close up today with the Never Give Up song, and then we'll take it from there. For some reason.